Hi, this is Editor Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at audio and how to adjust the levels. The thing is, internally, it is stored as a number, but it is not stored as dB. But on the screen, it shows as dB. So if we wanted to, say, reduce something by 3 dB or 6 dB, how much are we changing the internal number? And so we're going to look at an easy way to convert between the internal number and dB. And so we could easily show dBs from the internal number or set the dBs and convert it to the internal number. So let's see how we do that. The math for converting this is actually pretty simple. We're going to have two routines that we've written here. We're going to pass it a double, and we're going to return a double, even though the internal number is a float. And the math wants a double, so we're going to use doubles to do this. And so to change from a double to dB, this is the math we use. We have double dB number equals math.log10, and then the number that we pass to it, and then we multiply that by 20, and then we simply return that number. Same thing with converting the other direction. We're going to return a double, we're going to send it a double, and we're going to send it the dB amount. So for change dB to double, we're going to use double inum equals math.pow, and the parameters are going to be 10, comma, and then inside parentheses, we're going to do the dB num divided by 20. Notice up here we multiply by 20, down here we're dividing by 20. And then we just return that number back. Now to show how this works, I've created a project with just a audio track on it. So if we go back up and look at the top, notice we've got all of our standard using stuff and all the way down to my Vegas equals Vegas. Then I'm getting my audio track, which is an audio odd track, and I'm converting my Vegas.project.tracks0, the first track in the project, to an audio track, since that's what it is. I only have one track in the project, and it is an audio track. Then I'm creating me a double variable, which I'm getting the odd level, which is the internal number, and I'm getting that from oddtrack.volume. And then I'm going to have another W, which I just called odd dB, and I'm going to change that double to dB so that we can see how the math changes it, and we're going to pass it that audio level. Naturally, the first time the audio level is 0 dB, but internally it's actually 1. So we will see that when we do this message box here. We will see what the audio level, the internal audio level is, and then we'll see what the dB is. Now I'm going to convert the track.volume to 0.5. Like I said, internally it's technically a float, so I'm doing 0.5F. Then we're going to update the screen so that we can see the timeline change, the volume level on the timeline. It will change. Then I'm going to get the audio level again from the track, which will be 0.5, and then it's going to display what the dB actually is, and then we will see what it shows internally, and we will be able to compare that to what the track reads. Then I want to modify it by, say, plus 6 dB. So I got odd dB equals odd dB plus 6. Now we're going to convert that from a dB back to the internal number, and then we're going to set the audio track.volume to that internal number. Then we're going to update the UI again so that we can compare it to the track, and then we're going to display the information. Now let's subtract 18 dB. We're going to do the exact same thing that we just did up above, and then display the numbers again. Now I'm going to set the audio track.volume to 1.25F. Then we're going to get the track volume and convert that to dB, and we'll see how that all compares again. And then finally, I'm going to set the dB to 12. Then we're going to convert that back to the internal number, change the volume of the track, and display that information again. So we'll see with a bunch of different volume levels how the screen compares to what we are calculating. So we will go through these one at a time. Remember, it's first it's going to be at 0, and then we're going to set it to 0.5, then we're going to add 6, subtract 18, set it to 1.25, and then set the dB to 12. So here's our track. We have it set to 0, and we run the script. So we can see the audio level is currently set to 1, which converts to a dB of 0. Now we have set the audio level to 0.5, and that converts to a dB number of negative 6.02059999, and we can see on the track that it is set to negative 6.0. Now we're going to add 6 dB. So the audio level is now technically 0.99763 internally, which is a dB of negative 0.0205. And so you can see effectively it's reading 0 dB on the track. Next we have subtracted 18 dB. And so internally our track volume is 0.125594, which converts to a dB of negative 18.02. And so effectively, once again, it's just reading negative 18.0. Now we have set the audio internal number to 1.25, which converts to a dB of 1.938, and we can see that the track is reading a dB of 1.9. Finally, we have set the track to a dB of 12, and the internal number for that is actually 3.98. So if we set it to 3.98 internally, we're going to get a 12 dB. So this is useful both for track volume, for volume envelope, volume levels, for the clip itself. If you wanted to change the level of the clip down a certain number of dB, you could use this same formula. And so I hope these two formulas will help you out. And like and subscribe. Tell me what you'd like to see in the future. And we're actually approaching the 5-year mark. That's hard to believe that we are right at 5 years of tutorials. So I hope you've liked these 5 years of stuff. Let me know what you would like to see. Let me know what you've thought of these tutorials over the years. And we're basically at a happy birthday mark. So I hope to see you again in the next tutorial.